Hey everyone, my name is Nelson, and I decided to do my study on how athletes, more specifically NBA players, are using their platform of social media to promote activism and spread awareness about different social issues going on in the country and around the world. More specifically, I decided to take a look at Twitter and analyze several NBA players' tweets in response to the shooting of Jacob Blake in August 2020. Almost every player spoke up about it and was not silent. In fact, the Milwaukee Bucks took it a step further and decided to postpone one of their playoff games as a protest to this event. This led to a chain reaction where soon the entire league decided to boycott their games immediately after the Bucks. This led to a non-union sanctioned wildcat strike throughout the league, as they refused to play games for several days until their demands of change were met. The Wildcat strike had the potential to cost the league as well as the own players tons of money, but they didn't care and felt that this issue was bigger than basketball. This incident also generated a large amount of social media postings and responses towards the issue, and the overall purpose of this study was to examine the methods that these athletes are using to get their message across. I chose to examine posts on Twitter as well as this because this was the platform where a majority of NBA players were freely speaking up about the topic. And for my methods, first I searched for social media content from NBA players through Twitter relating to the recent August shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Second, because the Milwaukee Bucks were the first team that started the Wildcat strike, I looked into the response of NBA players towards the Bucks protest between August 26, 2020 to August 29, 2020, which was the official end of the Wildcat strike. I used qualitative methods to gain a better understanding of social issues found in these tweets, and I searched for key phrases and hashtags such as Black Lives Matter, change, or justice. And third, I generated themes by examining the codes, and then I reviewed these themes to determine that they tell a convincing story and that they fully answer the research question. And finally, I defined and named the themes and put the data and whatever narrative that came out of my research and related it to the research question. And this helped me understand the strategies that NBA players were using and helped me find correlations and patterns of meaning and how these concepts are communicated throughout the NBA. So when I completed my research, I found three dominant themes: unity, demands for justice and change, and the realization that this issue was bigger than sports. The first theme, unity, was directly in response to the Milwaukee Bucks' decision to boycott their games. Most NBA players immediately went to Twitter and tweeted out the response to the Bucks with this theme of unity. Keywords such as salute, solidarity, respect were found in almost every single one of these tweets. Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers responded that we have the strongest, most unified league in the world. Donovan Mitchell also tweeted, we demand change, salute. These examples of the solidarity that was shown between all the players in the league, and not a single tweet was found that showed any disagreements. The second theme was demands for justice and change. So many current and former NBA players tweeted about their demands for justice to the shooting of Jacob Blake, as well as their call for social change and reform. A large majority of the tweets contained keywords such as justice or change, and several players used their platform to show widespread and immediate support. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks tweeted, proud to be a part of this league even more today. We want change. Explicit language can also be found in several tweets. This was done to voice their displeasure, which is something that can be seen as risky in today's age where NBA players are viewed as role models by many, especially children. LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers is one example. He tweeted, fuck this, man. We demand change. Sick of it. LeBron's use of explicit language emphasizes the emotion and frustration that a group of people can feel after hundreds of years of oppression. The third theme was the idea that their actions and this issue overall was bigger than sports. It is an athlete's job to play basketball, but with an increased popularity and following, This also comes with more power and more pressure. And they understand the power that their voice has and how it can reach millions of people. This is a really big theme because we have to remember that the NBA was in the middle of the playoffs, which is a time of year that most players and fans wait all year for in order to compete for a championship. George Hill of the Milwaukee Bucks, in an interview the day of the boycotted game, said, "We can't do anything from Orlando. First of all, we shouldn't have even come to this damn place. To be honest, I think coming here just took all the focal points of what the issues are." So Hill's quote emphasizes the role and responsibility that a majority of players felt in that this was more than just sports. More examples of explicit language were found when DeMar DeRozan tweeted, "This shit bigger than basketball. Whoever don't understand that is part of the problem." For him to use this type of language shows the urgency and frustration that it is not just about playing basketball anymore. NBA players might not be ordinary workers, but they have a lot in common with working class communities, as many of them came from these types of communities. The final area that I wanted to discuss was fan responses to these tweets. The responses showed a lot of support for NBA players, and many fans showed their respect for athletes in choosing to risk everything for something bigger than basketball. Although the replies were mostly supportive, a lot were also unsupportive. Unsupportive of the athletes and unsupportive of Jacob Blake. Whether this was through a racist mindset or a disagreements that athletes should be involved with this, shouldn't be involved with this issue or discussion, or politics in general. It is also worth noting that these replies were mostly found in tweets that contained explicit language. Whether there's a connection there or not is, there needs to be more research done on that. And so all in all, the research question asked how NBA players are using their platform to promote social movements and activism through social media, and how the rest of the league was engaging with it. A large portion of tweets found stood firm on their positions of a wildcat strike, and it was also revealed that there were some players who favored canceling the rest of the season, with many players questioning why they were even playing basketball in the Orlando bubble in the first place. This was a result of the players' belief that their role and responsibility in all of this was bigger than the sport itself. Overall, I believe that it is important to listen to what these athletes have to say because of their raw emotion and how influential their voices can be for U.S. society as a whole. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and yeah.